I hope you enjoyed that short clip of the island of Turks and Caicos, and this makes you want to visit sometime soon. Now I'll hand over to Shanice.
Good morning, everyone. I'll be speaking about the history of Turks and Caicos. Next slide. So the beautiful island of Turks and Caicos was colonized in 1492 by the Taino Indians and Lucayan Indians, and they both settled in mainly Middle Caicos and Grand Turks. Um, as Peter previously said, Turks and Caicos Island consists of two groups of islands lying on the southeastern boundary of the Bahamas. They also left behind a rich heritage, go back, yeah, a rich heritage of seafaring, salt raking, and farming, as you can see in these pictures. Turks is a reference to the indigenous Turk's head, cactus, and Caicos from the Lucayan term Kaya Hiku, meaning strings of islands. Next slide. The island has a population of about 17,000 or approximately 33 persons per square mile, and about half the population lives on Grand Turks and the other half resides primarily on South Caicos and North Caicos.
Now we'll move on to Cassie, who will talk about the education on the island.
Hi everyone. I will introduce education system in the Turks and Caicos. Can be broadly divided into four stages. Next page. For primary education, some teachers at primary schools are not adequately trained. Besides, religious institutions have stepped into the gap, making it possible for the nation to aspire to a goal of free and compulsory education from age 5 to 15, and primary schooling lasts for 6 years. For secondary education, the official education program ends after 3 years, but private learning can also be done through private programs that charge a fee. Next page. For tertiary education, the Turks and Caicos Iceland Community College is the nation's only tertiary education institution. The Iceland has limited resources when it pertains to education. There are no universities, only has local community college where persons can acquire a trade in several areas, where acts as a push factor that increase people to seek more opportunities outside the country. For vocational education, the college provides technical training in skills. It also has professional upskilling programs and offer adult education class. Um, and so the Aisha, what do you think about the education in Turks and Caicos? Do you like it? And could you show us something about your study experience?
Sure, not a problem. So the educational system in the Turks and Caicos, I would say, is very strong. When you compare throughout the Caribbean, I would say that it's a very strong educational system. The government does provide for education from primary and at the secondary level. Both my husband and I were able to benefit from that. Also, as you would have mentioned, there is a community college that we find that many of our high school graduates would attend after completing high school, and then after the community college, you would find that quite a bit of them would then travel overseas. In my particular instance, at the time when I graduated high school, I won't say how many years ago, but when I graduated high school, we did not have the community college at that time, but I was able to achieve a government scholarship that allowed me to go to Barbados complete my associate's degree. And then I was able to then transfer over to the United States to complete my bachelor's degree. So I think that education is very much a top priority here in the Turks and Caicos, and the people here are well educated.
And I'll add to what Aisha just mentioned in regards to the community college. In more recent years, there have been many programs that have become available to allow students who attend the community college to achieve to acquire their associate's and bachelor's degrees. So that's in many different facets. Because, as you mentioned before, tourism is our main industry. There are many programs that are geared towards tourism, but many programs now in the community college, you're able to attain your associate's or bachelor's degrees.
Yeah, and recently the government would have, the country would have gotten into a partnership with the University of the West Indies. And so we have sort of like a campus here in Providenciales where lots of persons are taking advantage of that opportunity as well.
Okay, thank you for your answer. And we will now move to the Rachel.
Hi, my name is Raquel, and I'll be talking about the culture and cuisine on the island. Next slide, please. All right. You could just add every image, Peta. All right, so when it comes to culture, the island is famously known for their festivals. This aspect of the island makes people excited to experience more. They have festivals such as Caribbean Food and Wine Festival, and that's displayed on your left. You could see businesses, they're able to show their talents. They also have Mascanu Conch Festival, that's also shown, the 2017. I guess different sizes of conch are displayed there for people to view. New Year's Eve, Carnival, and many more. Tourists and locals travel near and far to enjoy these anticipated events. You can connect, socialize, and display your talents. Also, get your business out there. All this information made me so excited to learn more. That's why I have a couple of questions for Tanya. What festivals have you been to, and what was the experience and the entertainment like? We'd really love to know.
I actually was able to experience many of the different festivals here in Turks and Caicos Islands: Conch Fest, Lobster Fest, and Bear Fest, which is on the capital of the Turks and Caicos, which is Grand Turk. I would say that my favorite festival is Bear Fest so far.
Cool, great. Have you or anyone you know ever hosted an event during festival season?
Yes, actually, it's funny that you asked that question because my parents actually started their own festival on the island of Grand Turk, and it's called the Turks and Caicos Islands Summer Jam, which started in 1996. Wow. And I think it ended in 2015, to be correct. And that was held annually. And me and my sister Aisha, we also assisted with that festival as well. And hopefully in the future, we look to take it on, hopefully, and start it again.
Wow, great. Thanks so much for the feedback. A family full of entrepreneurs. Next slide, please. All right, so we're gonna display a visual of the cuisine on the islands of Turks and Caicos. Thank you.
What's your Turks and Caicos?
All right. Next slide. All right. So cuisines of the island. On the island of Turks and Caicos, they are known for their cuisine, especially when it comes to seafood, as you could see from the slide previously. They are famous for their cuisine, such as their boiled fish and grits, conch fritters, crab and rice, conch salad, and many more. Yeah, exactly, Cassie. Delicious food. Tourists travel all over the world to enjoy their cuisine. The ingredients are usually paired with their special sauces and spices. This helps increase their tourism revenue each year on the island, as has been said before. On the left, you'll see an image of the cracked conch salad, and snapper. Fun fact, during our interview with Latanya Gardner, we learned that although residents of Turks and Caicos eat their normal cuisine, they do, however, dabber into American comfort food for breakfast, such as pancakes, sausages, and eggs. So we all know a lot about that. Next slide, please. Thanks. All right, so Peta and I, my group member that had spoken before, we were so excited to try cuisine that was similar on the island of Turks and Caicos, because in Florida, we unfortunately don't have any Turks and Caicos restaurants, but there are people that cook similar food items. So we went to a restaurant called Turks, and as you can see, they were established in 1966. There was conch salad there, conch fritters, they had clams, and they had many more seafood because they specialize in all seafood. They even cook in front of you. Like we saw them cook a crab in front of us. It was really cool to see. Before I say too much, I'm gonna show the video of our reactions to trying the food. Next slide, please. Hi class, we're at this local restaurant here in Dania Beach, as you can see. I am here with my group member, Peta. Hi. She is about to try conch fritter, and it has a nice dipping sauce. Let's see how it is. Ready. What do you think? Great flavor, nicely cooked.
It's like fried chicken.
Like fried chicken, she said. That's very comforting to know. So we're just happy that we got to try some Turks and Caicos cuisine.
And the conch salad.
And next you're gonna see me try a conch salad.
Okay guys, so now Raquel is about to try the conch salad. We have it here. Looks so delicious. Go ahead.
That's Raquel. Go ahead.
I'm gonna try it with the tomato and some onions I see. Wow, it's good. Really good.
How's the conch?
The conch has like, let me try the conch by itself. It has a nice like tough, chewy consistency, but it's like still edible and tasty. I'm really loving it.
Okay guys, so we're gonna go ahead and close this out and try to enjoy this. Thank you. As you guys could see, the experience was really amazing for Pian and I to be able to try conch fritter and conch salad. My favorite was definitely the conch salad. I love the way that they flavored it. It was amazing. That brings me to Tanya. What are two of your favorite foods to enjoy while on the island of Turks and Caicos?
I would have to say conch fritters and conch stew. A lot of the tourists are very excited and eager to try the conch fritters because that's all they hear about, and they love the conch. Yeah, that's one of their favorite dishes as well.
Okay, great. Can you cook any of the Turks and Caicos cuisine? Like, what are your specialties? Do you add any of your own flavors?
Actually, we had a family restaurant is now closed, and we served many of the local dishes, and I actually learned how to cook many of the dishes there, such as conch stew and conch salad and conch fritters. So
Wow, it makes me excited to visit, even more excited. Thank you so much for all your feedback on the cuisine and culture of the island. I'm gonna move it over to Nora.
Good morning, everyone. We'll be talking about the tourism of the island. Now that we have packed our bags, let's discover this beautiful island and everything that it has to offer. Next slide. First of all, how to get to the island. Many tourists will choose the popular method of travel via plane to get to the island of Turks and Caicos, which might sometimes require connection via ferries or smaller planes, depending on which island they're trying to get on. However, traveling via cruise is also an option and very common while on vacation to the island because it's a stopover point for most cruise lines such as Carnival, Princess Cruises, and Norwegian Cruise Lines. During these stopovers, many choose to visit the famous Margaritaville. That many might hear about Margaritaville. They offer live entertainment. They are known to have the largest Caribbean pool. They offer poolside safe rentals, white sand beach, a tiki bar. They offer a full serve restaurant and bar, which is very famous in the Turks and Caicos, especially when people are traveling from the cruise. Next slide. Okay, the popular sites to visit while in Turks and Caicos, even though the island might be smaller, it's very known to attract a large amount of famous visitors. Popular sites that can be accessed by many include the local Thursday fish fry, as you can see in the picture. You might find the best fish fried just fresh from local, be able to connect with everything they do around the area. Also exploring the Turks and Caicos National Museum, where you might find a lot of historical treasures in there. A fun fact about the museum is that it was largely in response to the discovery of the Molossus Reef wreck to the southeast of West Caicos, which is the oldest excavated European shipwreck in the Americas. After this Portuguese or Spanish caravel was located in the earlier 1970s, the wreck site was significantly damaged by explosives during an illegal treasure hunting attempt. Surviving armaments and artifacts from the Molossus Reef wreck now that they take center stage at the museum. Also, another popular site, it's the aquarium located in the west of Providenciales, where they can swim to the reef from the shore and be able to see different kinds of corals and a great variety of colorful fish. Next slide. Oh wait, go back. Okay, there you go, sorry. Okay, so in this slide, you're gonna be able to see two of the treasures that are in the National Museum, the Lukanjan Duo, which is one of the rarest artifacts in the museum collections. It was used as a ceremonial seat for the cacique or chief of the Lukanjans, the first inhabitants of these islands. Also, you're able to see the Sioux gun, which is the Molossus Reef bird, early Spanish caravel that was equipped with the three types of rich lowing swivel guns. One type is showed about, and you can see it. Also, the Dunkins are used of method of transportation and Turks and Caicos, which for me is really fun to see. Also, you can see the Salinas, the Grand Turk Salinas, as well as the South Caicos salt salinas, where they were developed to produce salt in Turks and Caicos. Next slide. So now I'm gonna ask Tanya to share with us a little bit of the popular sites in Turks and Caicos and what will be what we need to know from the map and all the popular sites that we need to know. Go ahead, Tanya.
Okay, well, I'm looking here. It's a map of the entire Turks and Caicos, which is a group of islands. Oh, I was muted.
Yeah, so sorry, I pressed the wrong button.
Okay, yes, I was stating that looking here, it's a map of the entire Turks and Caicos, which is a group of islands, because most tourists think that it's only one island that they are visiting, but it's actually a group of islands. And here I can see the main islands that inhabited islands that the tourists visit: Middle Caicos, South Caicos, Grand Turk, and which is the capital. But even though it's the capital, most tourists visit the island of Providenciales. It's considered more as the city, and most considered like the South Beach of Miami. So it's the South Beach of Turks and Caicos, sorry. So there they have a lot of local restaurants, a lot of shopping, boutiques, water sports, different fun things that you can do and on that strip of Grace Bay.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Tanya. Also, we want to know a little bit about the popular beaches to visit on the island. Can you share with us a little bit about yes?
Yes, our most popular beach is Grace Bay Beach, which has been rated as one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. And it's very, I would say, private. It's a very private beach. You won't find a lot of people on that beach. So a lot of the tourists like to visit that beach, and it's secluded. They have a lot of privacy. And other popular beaches in Turks and Caicos would be the Long Bay Beach, which is in Provo, Governor's Beach in Grand Turk. Here you have Parrot Key and Gibbs Key, and also Pillory Beach, that's also in Grand Turk as well.
Awesome. Which is your favorite beach, Tanya, in your opinion?
I would say Governor's Beach, because I live on the island of Grand Turk, and that's what I have grown up visiting. But all of the beaches are beautiful. It's all the same.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for that, Tanya.
You're welcome.
Next slide. Perfect. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about the beaches as well. Turks and Caicos Islands, its subterranean foundation is primary limestone. Once the rock begins to break up into smaller pieces, it's rapidly decomposed into sand and dust, and it remains a bright white throughout the process. Because of this, sand on the beaches and ocean floor has almost gravel and is consistent and naturally light colored. As such as the beautiful island of Turks and Caicos is therefore known for its clean, colorful coral pink and peach color sand and turquoise water. It is recognized as one of the best beaches in the Caribbean due to conserving nature and recycling to protect the island beaches, as they are primary when it comes on attracting tourists and also the preservation of its beaches. Turks and Caicos has also won the title of Best Beach in the Caribbean in 2020. The island seems to hold to its title for cleanest lands. Next slide. I will go ahead and introduce you to Pita. She will share a video with you.
Okay, everyone, I hope you have enjoyed everything that Raquel, Cassie, Latanya, and Nora had to say. Now we move on to talking about the finances of Turks and Caicos. So how does Turks and Caicos gain its income? The island is popularly known as a major tourist attraction that is used to gain majority of its income from tourism by exploring its culture. The tourism effect has a major source of income on the island. It acts as a push factor for students who graduate college, whether locally or abroad, to pursue careers in the field of hospitality and tourism in order to gain employment on the island of Turks and Caicos. These popular positions are known as the hotel front desk positions, customer service, meet and greet, housekeeping, and even reservation positions. However, due to the impact of COVID-19, which we all have suffered from, this has caused the inflow of tourist traffic to minimize as the country was forced to close its ports of entry that is common for tourists to use. These include the local airports and the cruise docks. Popular tourist attractions include snorkeling, humpback whale watching, paddle boarding, and also using local boats to get a tour of the island of Turks and Caicos. These are just some examples, as you could see. And now we'll move on to talking about entrepreneurship opportunities on the island, which acts as a source of income, in which we're going to ask Jermaine to jump in and talk about his entrepreneurship experience. Go ahead, Jermaine.
Okay. Okay, so I'll start first. So we, I guess so far you can see that we all come from a family of entrepreneurs. So it was quite easy for us to, I guess, slide right in and do our own business. So back in before 2015, but we opened Long Bay Express, which is a fuel station, fuel delivery, and a convenience store. We opened that in 2015, and that arose basically out of a need because our 1-year-old son at the time got ill at night. He ran a fever, and all of the stores were closed at that time. And so we thought, why don't we just open up a business here in this area? And that is how Long Bay Express came to life, I guess. But Long Bay Express plays a very significant role in the tourism world, and Jermaine will explain that.
Yes, guys. So as Aisha mentioned, we opened our doors in 2015, but the community where Long Bay Express particularly is located, we also live in that general community area, and we moved in that area in 2010. And being, I guess, having that entrepreneurial spirit that was mentioned earlier, we also immediately recognized the need for developing some sort of business or getting into some business opportunity in the Long Bay area. So the name came from the actual community where the fuel station is located, hence the name Long Bay Express. That area, it's like a bridge between the Grace Bay area. So it's like 5 minutes away from Grace Bay Beach that you mentioned earlier. And it's about 5 minutes away from the Long Bay Beach, that popular beach in Long Bay. So we were able to acquire this property and develop it into what you see today. Now, the way that it plays into the tourist economy is because of its location. We are able to do business with a number of the, so we somewhat cater directly to tourists when they drive up, but we also cater indirectly by providing services to the boat owners, the jet ski owner operators, and all of those other businesses that deals directly with tourists. So as Aisha mentioned earlier, we also have a fuel delivery service where we have a delivery truck, and this location of Long Bay Express is also just a few minutes away from most of the major boating docks. So I can think about the Caicos Marina Shipyard dock, the Leeward dock, the Long Bay dock. We are just about 5 minutes away from those facilities as well. So we have the opportunity to deliver fuel to most of the boating companies in that area that cater to tourists. So that is one of the services that we offer, and we're able to capitalize on that for business purposes.
Thank you so much for that, guys. So we're going to continue as to how Turks and Caicos makes its income. These are just some popular hotels that we know tourists are prone to visit on the island. This includes Beaches, The Palms, The Sands, Wimmera, Point Grace, Turks and Caicos Collection, and 7 Stars. Granted, these are not just the only ones. There are actually more, but we are just highlighting a few. The island is now prone to welcome Ritz and Carlton to the Turks and Caicos. As I'm sure many of you are familiar with, Turks and Caicos, as a small island, heavily depends on tourism, and Ritz Carlton is a major attraction to the island. Now, Ritz Carlton is expanding its wings, which they decided to build an additional luxurious resort in the Turks and Caicos Island. which is still under construction. However, using its powdery white sand beaches and clear turquoise waters of the island as a marketing prop that will be used as an additional fuel to gain additional income and employment to the island. The resort is set to offer cuisines with global flavors coupled with the inspiration of local flavors of the island's warmth. Now we'll be talking about villas and Airbnbs as a fuel of income to the island. Jermaine and Aisha?
Yes, guys. So after we opened our first business in 2015, we quickly realized the need to get into this market space, which caters directly to tourists, obviously the Airbnb market. As you guys mentioned earlier, we have a number of hotels that are on the island, but because of the growing popularity of the islands, um, more demand was there for rooms, and because of the growing demand, and as you saw, the Ritz Carlton is just now under construction. There became a need on the island for this type of service. Now, I must mention as well that even before the Airbnb model became extremely popular, many of the homeowners on Providenciales in particular, and other islands as well, we rented out private homes to guests, to visitors, before that. But after Airbnb model came along, the demand grew even more for these types of services. Now, for us in particular, um, our location of this villa, it's also located in that general area that sits right in the bridge between the Grace Bay area and the Long Bay area beaches. So it allows us to have easy access to either of those areas. And you will find also on Providenciales that many of the homeowners are constructing Airbnbs. And now as well with the COVID-19 pandemic, you'll find that many guests are slowly moving away from just renting a hotel room. They want that type of privacy, and they want the ability to feel a bit safer. So there continues to be a growing demand for Airbnbs. So that is one of the reasons why we came into this space, because of the growing demand. And this project here that we started was completed at the end of December 2019, and it continues to be very popular among visitors today.
Thank you so much. Aisha, do you have anything to add?
No, I just a bit about this property here. That it's 3 units. It's an upper floor and a lower floor, and it has bicycles. Tourists, they really like to go and sightsee. So we do have bicycles available there. Spacious. It comes fully equipped with everything that a visitor might need. It has internet. Pretty much we wanted to ensure that it was a home away from home for our guests. And also it is conveniently located, as Jermaine would have mentioned, not too far from Grace Bay, not too far from Long Bay, the Long Bay communities. So it's a great location as well.
Absolutely. And just as you can imagine with a hotel room, if you were to visit a hotel room, the Airbnb model, certainly on Providenciales and in Turks and Caicos, we believe it's far better. Certainly our location, we believe it is. Like Aisha mentioned, you can take one of the bicycles that are on property, and in 5 minutes you can be on Grace Bay Beach or Long Bay Beach. And all of the amenities that you can imagine, and even more than are usually in a hotel room, they're contained here as well. It's very private, and guests can feel safe and accessible. And if you actually go outside on the second balcony, you are able to see a view of the Grace Bay skyline. So that's how close we are to Grace Bay. It has lovely garden views. And so for us, it was a perfect location. You know, you hear in business that location is key. That was the case for us. So we decided to construct this property here.
Thank you so much. Someone is asking in the chat, how many Airbnbs do you guys manage?
Well, as Aisha mentioned earlier, this property here is 3 units within itself. So we are able to book at least 3 sets of reservations at a time for the Airbnb purposes. We also have other properties that we manage, but those are for more long-term purposes.
Thank you so much. And would you say that you would encourage people to come to this Airbnb specifically compared to the others?
Let's see. Well, absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. I mean, for us, I mean, in particular, we believe that what we have to offer, as I mentioned earlier, that bridge between both of the most popular beaches on Provo, particularly, we believe that our location offers that. And it's brand new. The construction is new, and
Modern.
it's very modern on the inside. And as I mentioned earlier, all of the amenities that you can think about, even a spa tub. I mean, just about anything you can think about, we have it available there. All of our guests, if you see our reviews, all of our guests most certainly love it, and they can't wait to visit when they return to Turks and Caicos.
Okay, thank you. We have one more question for you. Why Airbnb of all the businesses that you could invest in?
Well, for us, Airbnb was just one of the many businesses that we dabbled into. This location, I must say, this location is also in a general area where other Airbnb properties are located. I also mentioned earlier that because of the growing demand for rooms, the hotel rooms on Providenciales particularly are almost always full. So you'll find that a number of the residents on island, they're getting into this because there's such a huge demand, and with the COVID-19 pandemic, the demand is even greater for that private setting where everyone doesn't necessarily want to mingle with one another. So I mean, it just made good business sense to be able to develop a property like this and offer it for rental. It's profitable.
I'm sure. Thank you so much for the explanation, and I'm sure many of us would like to visit your Airbnb when we come to Turks and Caicos. Okay, so moving on, we'll be talking a little bit about fun facts on villas and Airbnb. As many of you should know, celebrities such as DJ Khaled, Kylie Jenner visit the island of Turks and Caicos. Many people who visit the island of Turks and Caicos, such as these selected celebrities, tend to venture into real estate market, especially on the island, as they come wider this to be a secret getaway from their actual reality. They consider this to be a secret getaway. The island is known to be the venue of seclusion, which includes celebrity owners, as mentioned before, such as DJ Khaled, Kylie Jenner, Mary J. Blige, who are popular villa or Airbnb property owners on the island. The real estate vacation homes, now known as Airbnbs, are becoming a new phenomenon which acts as a major attraction for vacation for tourists on the island. The Turks and Caicos Islands, of course, are no strangers to this. The local owners who choose to rent their local Airbnbs to tourists, sometimes they do this for more than 2 days, which I'm sure if you have rented an Airbnb before, sometimes you cannot rent it for less than 2 days. So that actually adds to profit. I see Jermaine agreeing with me, which is definitely true. So because of this, Airbnbs become more popular on the island. Now we'll be watching a small video that explains Turks and Caicos going through COVID-19 in this time.
welcome back to my channel. We are here in the beautiful Providenciales Island, which is one of 40 islands that makes up Turks and Caicos. Providenciales, or Provo for short, has a population of about 23,000 people and is the busiest and most popular destination for tourism. Grace Bay Beach in Providenciales was voted best beach in the whole world, according to Travel Advisor's Choice Award back in 2018. Upon arrival to our resort, we were greeted with hand sanitizer and face covering signs. All staff members and guests are required to wear coverings when not social distancing, which wasn't very difficult for us to do. Booked an excursion via Viator booking app and went clearwater kayaking through the mangroves. Our tour guide informed us that the mangroves are government protected because they're crucial to the survival of the islands. Here we found many sea turtles, stingrays, live conch, and baby sharks.
Hey guys, so it's day one in Turks and Caicos. This morning we were pretty exhausted. We drove from Charleston to Miami and then flew out of Miami to Turks and Caicos, which was pretty quick. We got here, got settled in. It's really hot. Like, it's really freaking hot here. Put all our stuff up, took a shower. Today, like this whole trip, we really don't have anything planned. It's kind of just a very relaxing vacation. I feel like we both needed it. I'm excited to be here. I'm still kind of like shocked that we were even able to come, you know, with COVID and everything. But as far as their safety precautions, they are requiring people to wear masks, and they give you hand sanitizer every 5 minutes.
We woke up to the amazing breakfast. I had an egg frittata, which I'm about to go get another one of right now, a full spread of delicious fruits, coffee, tea, and orange juice, and these little pastries, which were like really cute and on like a little charcuterie tray. We spent the entire day doing water sports such as paddleboarding and kayaking provided by the Palms Resorts.
Thank you for watching. Now we'll go on. Jermaine, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So we just wanted to ask you your feedback on COVID-19 and how it has impacted you and your business.
Right. So as the vlogger mentioned there earlier, and I'll go back a step further, COVID-19, it's impacted obviously everyone in one way or the other around the world. But here in Turks and Caicos, because we really depend on tourism, as you guys mentioned earlier, that's our main source of income. We've had to adjust significantly to be able to accommodate tourists, obviously, so that we can continue to make money here in the country. It's impacted everyone, but the government has they've done a good job, I would say, in the sense where so if you were to visit Turks and Caicos right now, or decide to book a trip to Turks and Caicos, you would be required to take a COVID test that cannot be more than 5 days within your date of travel. And that's still, even though there's still a chance that someone may get COVID within that time frame, what the government did was they tried to be as reasonable as possible while also trying to remain on this as safe as possible side. So we ask our visitors to take a COVID-19 test that's within 5 days of their travel. And once they take that test, there's some information that also has to be uploaded onto our tourism website. And once you get on the island, you would be required to answer a questionnaire that, and this is at the airport, through our health facilities at the airport. And once you get past that, and I think it's pretty reasonable, and we've done a good job of trying to ensure that our guests are safe, while as well our residents are safe. And it slowed down things a bit, but what we realize now is that everyone's gotten used to it and the guests are pretty much complying with it. So right now we're able to actually take advantage of the opportunities that we have, because a lot of the other countries where tourists would normally visit, even in the Caribbean, they're still closed, but Turks and Caicos is open for business. and we're accepting tourists even up to now. In fact, I have a Airbnb guest checking in today. So we are still accepting tourists. And even though things have slowed down, what we've realized is that once our guests get the hang of what all the requirements are, they adjust pretty easily. And once you follow the protocols and try to keep as safe as possible, we're still able to meet guests, accept guests, and the guests have a great time.
Thank you so much, Jermaine.
So we actually have another question. So it says, for those who visit your Airbnb, what are some local excursions your guests can get involved in?
Okay, so there's so many. I mean, just last week, a guest I booked ATV tours for some of my guests. There are jet ski rentals. There are yacht rentals. I mean, you choose it. We also have. I mentioned earlier about the fuel station that we own, providing services to many of the boat owners that are in the immediate area. We're able to also go to those boat owners and tour companies that we already do business with and book rentals for our Airbnb guests. So it's much easier. I mean, there's parasailing, there's kiteboarding, and because of our location, as I mentioned earlier, the kiteboarding happens on the Long Bay Beach, which is 5 minutes away. Parasailing happens on the Grace Bay Beach, which is 5 minutes away in the other direction. So just about every water sports service that you can think about, we offer it, and our guests love it. We're able to book because of the continuous relationship that we already have with those tour companies.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I know you have to go soon, so we do appreciate you being here, and Aisha as well.
Yeah, Aisha had to leave for a 12 o'clock appointment, so she wanted to wish you guys well in your study, and she says that she was happy to be with you.
Thank you so much. Now we're moving on to our question and answer section, and if anyone has any questions, you're free to open your mics or put a question in the chat, and we're here to answer any questions you have.
I have a question for Tanya. Is Tanya in?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, Tanya, have you dabbled into any Airbnb activities, even though you're living on the island in the past or maybe now? Have you experienced any like local Airbnb excursions, things like that, things to do that tourists would enjoy? Have you experienced it for yourself? How was the experience for you?
Actually, I haven't had the opportunity to actually stay at an Airbnb because living on the island, I wouldn't actually try and book one, but I had the opportunity to actually spend the weekend at Aisha and Jermaine's Airbnb, and it was like one of the best experiences I've had, better than staying at a hotel. So it was very nice. And very, I would say it's like a getaway. And also I would like to say that I visited the local fish fry. That is an event that is held once a week on the island of Providenciales. And all of the tourists like to visit the local fish fry, and I would say all of the celebrities as well. It's like an event where all of the locals, they have different booths, and they would be able to showcase their business. And if you have like a business where you're selling food or any clothing or anything that you have made, like jewelry, you will go there and showcase your business. So it's like basically an event for different vendors, and there's local music and local dancing, local bands performing. And a lot of the tourists like to go there. It was a very good event.
Wow, awesome. Thanks for that information. One thing I did like learning is that what has been said previously is that you guys on the island, you guys respect like the celebrities, I guess, space and personal vacation while there. So that's really cool because you don't really hear that when celebrities travel places. So
Yes.
I really like that.
Yes, I think that is why also that the celebrities they love to visit Turks and Caicos because even within the US or different countries, they tend to get a lot of paparazzi or people putting cell phones in their faces. They want to take pictures, they want autographs. They actually can come there with their wives or their husbands or their girlfriends without worrying about the information getting back to the tabloids and their names all over the place. So you
Anya
would
is
find,
absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
yes, you would find, Jermaine, I'm sure you can agree, you can find some celebrities coming there to do a lot of, yeah.
What
Yeah,
happens
yeah.
in Turks and Caicos
There
stays in
you
Turks and
go. You
Caicos.
got it. I can say as well that at the local before the fish fry shut down due to COVID, Drake was a regular there, and he loves Turks and Caicos on a whole, and he's always visiting there. But he would go and hang out at the local fish fry, and even though that was the case, you wouldn't see. You guys probably haven't seen a ton of photographs of him there, but it's because mostly we like to respect our visitors' privacy. I mean, and the celebrities know all about that. Like Tanya said, they don't want a camera or a phone up in their face all the time. And we find that once we respect their privacy, they come back and visit. So that's a big benefit to us, you know. So it works out both ways.
Awesome.
Wow, that's great.
We have one question here in the class, Brian.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
How do people get around locally between the islands? Are there ferries between the Turks and the Caicos, or do people?
Absolutely. So there are absolutely ferries. So if you saw that map earlier, the islands, the Turks Islands, which Providenciales, Middle and North Caicos, those islands are really close. They're not far apart from each other. So if you wanted to to get over to North Caicos, which is the island next to Provo, or even Parrot Key, which is a private island in the chain where lots of celebrities go, there are ferries available. Parrot Key particularly, they have their own private boats that take their guests over. And we take ferry services over to North, Middle, and South Caicos. But there are also small aircraft available for booking over to those islands. But most people like to take the boats and the ferries because the scenery, you know. But to get from Providenciales to Grand Turk, which is the capital, that requires an airplane, which is about 25 minutes, a 25-minute plane ride from Providenciales to Turks and Caicos. I'm sorry, to Grand Turk.
Thank you. Someone is asking, what is the status of COVID vaccinations? Tanya or Jermaine, if you guys want to comment on that.
Yeah, so right now I can say that about 30%, we've already disseminated about 30% of our vaccines. Vaccines are available for the population on island. And I believe that's also one of the reasons why visitors don't mind coming here, because we are getting vaccinated here and we're trying to do our best to stay safe so that we can actually accommodate visitors. But I think we have about 30% of our population vaccinated so far. And that's a good thing. We feel it's a good thing, certainly for our tourist product, right? The tourists feel more safe once they hear that a lot of the population are getting vaccinated.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions for Jermaine or Latanya? Okay, so we're just gonna move on to showing you one last video.
How can the color turquoise inspire such emotion? How can a water so blue be so clear? The ocean, the air, a nature so pure, a feeling that only the lucky few can truly experience. These islands aren't a place you see, they're a place you feel. There's only one Turks and Caicos, a place that's truly beautiful by nature. We'll be waiting for you.
Okay guys, so thank you so much for watching our presentation. We do appreciate Aisha, Jermaine, Latanya, and everyone else from Ollie and FIU who chose to visit our lovely video showing Turks and Caicos. Before we close this out, we also want to give a shout out to those of us who are from the Caribbean and our neighboring island who are really facing a serious issue at this time. So we're sending prayers to the St. Vincent and the Grenadines as they experience a volcano eruption over the weekend. We thank you so much for joining, and we do hope you guys have a great day.
Thank you guys. It was nice being
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Professor? Stop record, please. Stop record? Okay.